6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m., it's Wednesday, June 12, 2019, 53 degrees outside. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Shane Montalban on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And what were you eating?
Oh, well, I have this lady friend of mine. And it is one
a lady friend.
Greatest,
whoa,
one of the greatest bakers in the world. And it's an absolutely delicious cherry pie with like a 3/4 inch crust. Oh my goodness gracious!
Whoa!
What?
Back up! I don't care about the food anymore. I want to hear about the lady. I want to hear about this lady friend. How much of a friend would this lady be exactly? Would you say? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10.
See, considering how handsome you are, friendly enough, I wouldn't introduce her to you.
Okay. I had no idea that...
I would say 8. Yeah, 8.
I had no idea that ladies populated your life enough to make baked goods for you.
Oh yeah. I love to
Is this
cook.
one of many that flow through the Montalban household?
No, wait. Now you're getting risky because... They may be listening.
They may be listening, right?
Right now, they don't know which lady friend I'm talking about, except the one who gave me the pie.
Okay, well, all right. When you come down,
why did you have to ask? Why did you have to ask? Yesterday it was.
Well, you brought it up.
No, you did. I was eating it, and then you asked me what.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could have said, "Oh, it's a pie. I baked it."
I wouldn't do that.
Well,
I do. I can't bake pies. I bake more pies and pastries in a lifetime. I won't go near a roller. No way.
Okay.
Not gonna happen.
All right. Well, when you come down July, I'm gonna have to hear more about this relationship here.
I was seriously considering asking you.
Yeah. Asking me what? To bring her?
No, I was gonna have a contest, and I was gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
Like 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. And whoever answered first would go on a list. And then between now and when I come down, I was going to offer the winner to cook a dinner.
You would cook a dinner for them?
Yeah. Oh. They'd have to buy it because I don't know what they're going to want, but it would be whatever they want. In other words, they can't tell me. That I just show up and they go,
okay,
here's what you cook a
So the winner's gonna have to buy the dinner. I like it.
Well, I don't know what they like. So,
they could tell you. You could buy it.
Forget that.
Well, for me, it's a steak and baked potato and a tossed salad with some ranch. Let's go. Maybe a little wine. What's the deal?
I guarantee my barbecued steak and my Caesar salad would win out.
It would win out. Okay. Well, see, that was easy. Then you just go out and get a nice steak and go for it.
No, you didn't win anything.
Well, I know. I don't think I'd be eligible. But
why not?
Yeah.
Everybody be eligible. Maybe nobody might not call in to answer the questions either. That's why,
Well, I'm not eligible because I'm not a listener. I don't listen to this show. I don't know what's going on.
Well, listen to the show?
No, I don't listen to it.
I have to think about that. What do you mean? Of course you listen to the show.
Well, maybe.
Yeah?
Part of the time I do.
When you're paying attention?
Right. Oh, man. We're off to a bad start already.
You only have 7 minutes now to do the weather. Go.
I know. Well, it's going to be 78 degrees today. 52 the overnight low, partly cloudy. No chance of precip today. Little rain tomorrow, but only about 25%. Not even much to talk about. 77 will be the high, 51 the overnight low. On Friday, 75 degrees again, and 49 the overnight low, partly cloudy. Again, very little chance of rain. And Saturday, 73 and 47, mostly sunny. And Sunday, 75, mostly sunny that day too. So for a chance, we get a decent weekend, Shane. And Monday, 72 degrees, 49 the overnight low, and we will have scattered thunderstorms, about a 50% chance of rain in the afternoon around there. And then on Tuesday, 69 degrees and showers that day as well. Not quite a 25% chance of rain on next Wednesday. So that'll get us up to speed for the week.
92 degrees here yesterday high.
Wow.
Not a cloud in the sky. And 62 degrees this morning at 5:05.
Wow. I hate you. Temperatures around the area right now.
I'm sure glad you don't bake pie.
Right, yeah. Be a file in it or a razor blade or something for you.
Exactly.
Livingston right now is 45 degrees, and Clare, Manhattan is 46, Three Forks 47, and Gallatin Gateway is 48, Ennis is 43, Big Sky 41, and at the airport in downtown Belgrade, or close to downtown Belgrade, I guess, 48 degrees. And, of course, it's 53 degrees right here at 12 minutes after the hour. So there we are with your weather.
With your weather.
Well, in 1776, that was an interesting year, wasn't it? A lot of things happened in 1776.
Wow. And within 10 years, the Western civilization had changed.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yeah, well, on this date in 1776, Virginia's colonial legislature became the first to adopt a Bill of Rights. So you got Virginia to thank for the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, the deepest, darkest, democratic slave state. Mm-hmm. Home of the Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
But, the Great Awakening was the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson. But the other great things about the state that must be said, they were first to really press for the Bill of Rights to be added to the Constitution. Mm. They didn't think the Constitution
went far enough. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that. They thought that there was they always believed in, especially when you read the papers.
Mm-hmm. Federalist Papers you're talking about?
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. That there was no way to amend it.
Okay.
So they wanted to come up with a logical amending process. The other thing is the 4 of the first 5 presidents were Virginians. George Washington, of course, Father Con. Then John Adams from
Virginia,
Massachusetts, and then the Virginia dynasty for 24 years of Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I have no idea where they were born. Anyway.
Virginia,
all of them were Virginia, except for John Adams, of course.
Yeah, he was from Massachusetts.
1898 on this date, Philippine nationalists declared their independence from Spain.
Yeah, it's one of these situations, of course, of colonialism. And the reason that is an important date is the Spanish-American War. And that's when the United States ended up with Puerto Rico. When they say the United States has never taken property from war,
well,
not true.
Guess what?
They took 55% of Mexico in the Mexican-American War in 1845. We discussed that.
Yeah.
And they took Puerto Rico when they fought the Spanish. So, amazing country. Visited it a couple of times. People are just, it's amazing how people in third world live with such destitution,
yeah.
And poverty are so happy, but they're Catholic generally. But the important things is I would like to mention about countries, and when we bring it up as a population, 100 million people. That's a lot of people.
It is,
and it's not a very big state. It's 870 square miles. I mean, that's like half your state.
Yep. For sure.
And the GDP, though, is $1 trillion, which is quite remarkable.
That's pretty good.
80% of their protein comes from the sea.
I would bet. Yeah, since they're surrounded by it. Seems logical. Yeah.
They're islands. Yes, they're all islands.
And with 1 million people, they don't have a whole lot of farmland, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Oh, no, it's tropical. Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, it's mountainous and whatever. 1937 on this date, Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin executed 8 army leaders during a purge. I guess Kim Jong-un found out about that and decided, hey, I can do that.
I can be a true communist.
As long as you're a dictator, you can do whatever you want to do, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that was his first genocide, was the Great Purge, 1932-33. 700,000 executive military men were killed. So from the generals in the Politburo all the way down to sergeants were annihilated and replaced. And I guess you would be loyal to the guy that replaced you, because you saw what just happened to the guy that was your commander. Right?
or if you wanted to go up the ladder, you could point to the guy ahead of you and say, "Hey, Joe."
And responsible for 80 million deaths in the 20th century, one of the great
genocides of all time. Yeah.
Genociders. Would you call them a genocide?
Yeah,
is that a real word?
Genocidalist.
A genocidalist.
I don't know.
With training wheels, and then he took off the training wheels and got serious.
Yes, he did. Well,
then he died the 5th of March, 1953. And, of course, Nikita Khrushchev took over.
After that, yeah.
And
rest is history.
Rest is history, yes, sir.
1939, the National Baseball got serious. They decided a Hall of Fame would be necessary for baseball players. So it was dedicated in Cooperstown, New York, of course. And rest is history. Quite a place. Never been there myself, but would love to go sometime. But
you've never been to Cooperstown?
Never have, yeah.
No,
I haven't been in Yellowstone yet. Come on.
I know.
What are you talking about?
That's right. I have to ask. Because, I want to know where you actually have been, besides California and Bozeman.
Well, Texas and Illinois and Vietnam. That's it.
Well, yeah, for sure. Proud of your service. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I've been to Japan, too. We hopped off there and been to Okinawa, of course, on the trip over there. Well, for about 10 minutes, changing planes.
Okay. So. Amazing place to visit. The most racist people in the world. And unbelievable.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad I didn't have to stay there very long.
Yeah, you wouldn't have enjoyed it. No, you would not felt not at home. No. Yeah. It'd take half a dozen of them to equal you.
Yeah. 1963, civil rights activist Medgar Evers was fatally shot in front of his home in Jackson, Mississippi. And I believe it was several years later they got the guy that did it, I think, didn't they? I forget. He was an old guy. Yeah,
Byron de la Beckwith.
Yeah, Beckwith. That's it. Byron Beckwith.
The White Citizens Council. Uh-huh. And that group was formed in 1954 to resist the integration. Medgar's fame, of course, is it brought attention to the segregation of schools in particular, not restaurants, not bathrooms, not pools, but education.
Yeah.
And resulted in the Brown versus Board of Education decision in 1954 by the U.S. Supreme Court, which ended that, and it's time to go.
Yep, yes it is. And we've got Montana News and Agriculture for our farmers, ranchers, cab drivers, truck drivers, anybody that brings you booze, clothing, or food. So...
or pie!
Or pie, Uber drivers, whatever. And may bring a lady to your home with the pie. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. Don't go there.
All right. We'll be right back right after this. Well, 21 minutes after the hour. I apologize. Not sure what happened to the news and agriculture. That button must be really touchy because sometimes if you hit it more than once, it goes to the next thing. So I apologize to our ranchers and farmers out there that we didn't get you a ag report this morning. So... But,
I'll do it at 6:30.
There you go. We'll give you soybeans and cattle and pigs and hogs and everything at 7:30 when we come back with the market opening.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, 1971, President Richard M. Nixon's daughter Tricia and Edward F. Cox were married in the White House at Rose Garden. So
yeah, rather famous, and the one thing about Nixon is that he became the empirical president because he designed all the new uniforms in the White House, and he was very particular about all the things that went on in the White House, and one of the first presidents to have his daughter married in the White House and married to her husband is a Harvard law student Edward Cox, and in the Rose Garden ceremony.
There you go.
Which, if we win anything and get invited to the White House, I just want to sit down in the Rose Garden and,
have a beer with Trump?
No, he doesn't drink, but I'll have a beer with you.
Okay, well, he can have diet soda or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he won't have time for us. No, he's too busy.
Too busy for us. Are you kidding me? Come on. I mean, that's an oxymoron if I ever heard one.
That's right.
Too busy for Tom and Jane? Come on. 1978, on this date, David Berkowitz was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison for each of the 6 Son of Sam .44 caliber killings in New York City, and they found him with a parking ticket.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's just one of those little lucky things, Yeah, parked in the wrong place, and
yes,
you're executed.
6 life sentences, but the thing is the period of time that it went on. And, in New York City, and
everybody was really scared. Yeah.
And the other thing too is he snuck into people's homes to do it. Through windows and
or shot them in parked cars or whatever.
Yeah, couples in parked cars and stuff.
Yeah, he was a nasty guy, nasty looking guy too. But anyway,
Can we say that?
Not as good looking as you, but
Well, only with a suntan.
Yeah, right. 1994. So as long as we're on the topic of gruesome murders, why not?
Yeah.
Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman were slashed to death outside her Los Angeles home. Her former husband, Football Hall of Fame O.J. Simpson, was later acquitted of the killings in a criminal trial, but held liable in civil action, and they were stabbed multiple times. Man, it was a very a rage of murder. I think her head was almost severed, and
this was a personal murder.
It was extremely personal.
There's not a passerby, that wanted to steal.
What did it take, like 8 minutes or something, to find him innocent? I think they went and took one vote and came back out, and everybody was going, "What? They're back already?" And
if the gloves don't fit, you must
acquit. I guess. Yeah,
must acquit. Yeah.
I don't know.
That did it, baby. That's what did it.
Yeah. Well, in 2002, the Los Angeles Lakers won a 3rd straight NBA title, and Shaquille O'Neal was named MVP of the finals for the 3rd year. And, I guess Golden State will three-peat. They'll win Thursday and they'll win Sunday. So
have you ever been to an NBA game?
Yes. Okay. I've been there.
Then you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
So I saw him play for Orlando, and I was sitting at one of the ends, looking up court.
Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he was coming down court, and a guy charged him, knocked him down right on his butt ski. But when he hit the ground, he had so much sweat on his body, you saw it go like right off onto the floor. Right? Yeah. And they had to stop the game with the kids came out with the mops.
Mopped up the floor. Yeah.
And they say these guys in football and basketball, they sweat off 5, 6, 7 pounds of water.
Well, having played college-level basketball, I read somewhere that the equivalent of playing a basketball game is running 4 miles at top speed.
Wow.
Is the equivalent of it. And we sweated a lot. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, especially sitting on the bench. Yeah.
Well,
that's a lot of running, sitting on the bench.
Well, what can I tell you? It's comfortable, though. Well, in 2008, a deeply divided Supreme Court ruled that foreign detainees held for years at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba had the right to appeal to U.S. civilian courts to challenge their indefinite imprisonment without charges.
Now, all the things that Jennifer's come and talked to us about the Supreme Court, you'd think she'd talk about this one because, my God, this whole thing about Guantanamo has been in the news, for 20 years since, George Bush Sr. But I have to tell you.
But aren't they, if they're captured on the battlefield, you can hold them indefinitely?
Indefinitely, that's right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But what are they, where they're not, they're determined because they're not with a country, right?
They're enemy combatants.
Thank you. See, you're a military guy. You get this stuff. Anyway, the great thing is that the United States leased 120 square kilometers, 45 square mile in Guantanamo Bay, and the U.S. released it for, do you know what for originally? Coal station in 1903 for naval base, and a coal station for their coal burning ships in 1903. The lease was $2,000 in gold per year until 34, and when the payment was set to match the value in gold in dollars.
Oh.
And then in 1974, they agreed to yearly payment of the lease of $4,085. And I said, Tom, this must have stuck in Castro's craw every morning, waking up and going, they're in Guantanamo Bay.
Right, yeah. and they're not doing anything with us at all.
At all.
No tourism, no nothing, yeah.
Nothing.
Well, not too much in the birthday today. Thomas Walsh, born on this date in 1859, was a U.S. Senator from Montana, 1913 to 1933. And Anne Frank, of course, the German Jewish girl killed in the Holocaust, kept the Anne Frank diary that they made movies out of. She died at the age of 15.
That's right.
And they're not sure of her exact death date, but she was born on this date in 1929, died in 1945, but we're not sure what the date was. So
no record, of course not.
There you go. All right, we come back. The Gallatin County and the city want to get in your pocket again, so we're going to talk about that. Ready to go. They're ready to pony up. Let's get some dough from these citizens. They're not tapped out yet. That's just an excuse they use. Come on. They got plenty of money out there, so we're coming after it. So we'll talk about that when we come back right after the news. So stay tuned. A lot more to come on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We'll be right back right after the news. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. 54 degrees outside. And welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom, half man, half amazing in Vancouver. And Tom Eagle up your morning mayor. And, well, 2 Colstrip plants are going to close about 30 months ahead of schedule, Shane. Because of the high cost of running them and the unwillingness of the coal supplier to lower any prices. So they are going to shut down the 2 614 megawatt capacity co-owned by Talon and Puget Energy, Sound Energy, and they'll be permanently retired on December 31st. The newer units, which generate the bulk of the 2,100 megawatt plant output and are owned by 6 companies, will continue operating, although those whose livelihoods depend on the plant worry that it may be shuttered early as well. Demand for coal is dropping as utilities turn to cheap natural gas and renewable energy, while pollution rules increase coal power costs, and some states worried about climate change seek to divest from coal. And
yeah, it's true. I mean, 28 years ago, 56% of your energy grid was the energy or the electricity is produced by coal, and today it's 27.4. So
yeah, it's coming down. Yeah, you still need coal to produce enough heat to melt steel and things like that. So it isn't going to be that we're not going to have coal unless. Well, eventually some alternative fuel will be developed that will replace coal doing that. But for the moment, not going to happen. But
the interesting thing is it's a special coal that is required for steel. And it's in those states that, your president loves, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia.
Yep.
It's
all through that, through that whole area there.
The Appalachians, yeah.
Well, they figure a 400 or 500 year supply still there, something like that.
Yeah,
it's massive amounts. So, well, in other news, we've been talking a lot about the situation with the with the Parks plan, the $200. Well, it's not $200 exactly. A property owner with 7,500 square foot lot would pay $135 the first year and $184 by the 5th year. So we've just been enjoy your cake. We've just your pie. We've just been talking about it as $200. But if the tax goes into effect, the city will no longer need to use general fund money for park maintenance. So that's kind of what they're looking at. So They think they're going to backtrack on. They were going to do a $10,000 mailing out to the citizens and have them protest, but they've decided that they got a lot of bad feedback about that people want to vote on this, and so it looks as though they're going to try to do that. Iho Pomeroy and Jeff Krause voted against the plan for a commission vote on this special district. So if 10% of the affected residents voiced opposition, the vote would have failed. But the special district that would tax property owners, is needed to reach national standards for parks. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the same city commission that demands every subdivision have like some, 2 houses less because we want a park in there, and now they claim they can't maintain them?
Well, look, to all the listeners, I got to do this. Props to the mayor, to the righteous eagle man. Having Jeff Krause in every week brings this to the attention of everyone in the valley. They know exactly what's going on because, gosh knows, nobody else on the radio or in print covers exactly what goes on. And, you have as much to do with this being resolved in some way or other because people know about what's going on. So everyone should applaud at home and cheer on the righteous eagle man because he keeps you informed.
Well, an election on the issue would be more expensive for the city than a commission vote, but Chris Mell said that the cost is a concern, but the key takeaway is that an election is transparent and fair, and I would agree with that. I think the voters need to stand up and talk about that. They would like the vote to be delayed until the spring. County commissioners will ask voters to pay for a replacement for the Law and Justice Center on a November ballot. Pomeroy said she doesn't want the parks and trails to compete with the county's request. So you may see that in May, and we'll be talking about a May ballot here very shortly, right after we take this quick break. We'll be right back. 13 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 56 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And from our text line, Shane, 478-8298, spring vote equals students that are clueless voting. I like that one.
Yeah,
that is. I would say there's a lot of truth in that, unless they vote when the kids are already out of school. But back to our local news. That's not going to get in your pocket. Pending approval, Bozeman Health will begin construction on a $20 million clinic on the west side of town. This is going to be at Huffine and Cottonwood Road. Offering primary care that includes family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, and gastrointestinologists will be there as well, and should be a nice addition for that part of town. The clinic will accept most forms of insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, and of course, Bozeman Health was motivated to open the clinic in response to the tremendous amount of growth happening on the city's west side. So they wanted to have something out there locally that people could go to without having to travel all the way from the west side to the hospital. So if there are things that can be done at that clinic, that would be a nice addition to Bozeman. So now getting back to money, the Bozeman principals and administrators all got raises. The board recently approved contracts awarding pay raises of 3% and 2% for 500 teachers the next 2 years, and 4% for clerks and other non-teaching classified employees. So there you go. So let's see. Not included in the administrative salary list is superintendent's pay. Bozeman superintendent for the past 7 years earned $150,000. He is leaving to take a superintendent's job leading the larger Missoula School public schools, where he'll get a raise of $30,000 to $180,000. So pretty nice little windfall for him. And so anyway, so what does that mean? Well,
more taxes.
Well, yeah, but we can't end it there, because the district prepares a $25 million bond sale for Bozeman High School makeover.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go. Bozeman school officials are getting ready to sell $25 million in bonds to pay for a major renovation of Bozeman High School, and if all goes as they hope, taxpayers wouldn't see any tax increase from that project next school year. Well, don't hold your breath, but we'll see.
Yeah, but who pays the interest on the bond?
Well, that would be the bond holder. You and me, no, I would think.
Yeah, exactly.
School board trustees voted Tuesday to sell up to $26 million, I guess, in bonds this fall to take advantage of the interest rates that are near a 10-year low. Now, they might want to wait till July and see if they lower the rates yet again, but
they will, a quarter point.
I think so. So on June 10th, the government bonds were selling with a 2.14 interest rate, according to data from the Bridget Elkstrom and D.A. Davidson. The school district already has a AA2 bond rating, the best in the state, so they should get a pretty good rate from that if they can sell those. So we'll see how that works out. That I don't know. I thought they kind of made over the Bozeman High School not long ago. It used to be Chief Joseph. Now Chief Joseph is part of the high school. They've kind of renovated that area. So I don't know, man. The money's getting kind of heavy around here. We also have new solar panels installed at 2 Bozeman schools. The projects were paid for from 3 sources. A $48,000 grant from Northwestern Energy's Universal System Benefits Renewable Energy Program. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And regular school building repair funds passed by local voters, and money left over from the students' fundraising to install solar panels at Sacagawea Middle School. So,
yeah.
So
the great scam of the 21st century.
We love that. Panel. We love that solar panel, don't we?
Yeah.
They should generate enough electricity to offset 20% to 25% of each school's electricity needs.
Oh,
right. That's what they're claiming anyway. We'd start to make money after 7 years.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and they'll be obsolete in 4.
That's right. and have to be replaced in 14.
Right. Yeah. Well, not to be left out, Gallatin County agencies are asking for $16.1 million beyond what was included in the initial budget for the next fiscal year, but the county has only $1.1 million to fulfill the request, so they're a little short.
I want to make a big point here about maintenance of solar panels.
Okay, go for it.
We talked the other day about the worst thing for asphalt is water,
right?
And the worst thing for solar panels is rain.
Or snow, too.
And snow, but it's not the moisture.
Yeah.
But it's the dust particle that
in the rain.
In every raindrop that falls on those solar panels, and they have to be cleaned constantly. So the kids will be on the school's roofs cleaning solar panels on a regular basis.
That gives new meaning to eraser cleaning that we used to do, huh?
That's right.
Cleaning the blackboards. Green boards, I guess, now, but they were blackboards when I was in school, yeah.
Yeah, Bill, you got to go clean 40 panels for saying that.
Yeah. Well, it's likely about 75,000 of the available 1.1 million will be used to cover increases in workers' compensation, employee health insurance premiums, and liability insurance. I thought the county was self-insured. But I'll have to check that out. And liability insurance.
That goes on the Jeff list.
Yeah. Well, no, this is the county. Although Jeff used to be the county treasurer, so he might have some insight on that. Yeah, put it on the list anyway. And the jail likely will receive about $177,000 of the available money. Didn't we just put a new jail in not long ago? It's been a few years, I guess. But anyway. Some of that would go to medical services, which have been costing more than the county anticipated when it brought the service in-house a couple of years ago. And the remainder would pay for unforeseen maintenance projects which were completed this year, but which the jail cannot absorb in its budget. So the majority of the supplemental requests, $12 million, are for projects at the fairgrounds, including pavement repairs, building remodels, and new construction at the fairgrounds. It's likely some of the proposed projects will be covered by fair revenue, capital reserves, and next year's budget. So, I don't know. Does it ever end, Shane? Does it ever end?
Well, thankfully it doesn't, or you wouldn't have anything to talk about.
I wouldn't have a job, would I? All right. We went a little long on that. Got to take a break. Be right back. All right. We got about a minute left here, Shane, before the top of the hour. We had 40,000 pounds of bees in a trailer truck tipped over.
Ouch.
At Bozeman. It was at Gooch Hill and Durston trying to make a turn. And got caught in the ditch and flipped over. So these were from California going to Dakota. So people on the west side, get ready for some amazing flowers, because you are going to have 40,000 bees running around pollinating the heck out of your shrubs and flowers and everything else. So kudos to that. Our South Dakota's loss is our gain. So
there you go. Yeah, man. Bees are important, folks.
Bees are important. So all right. All right, we got to duck out of here, pay some bills. Mike McCormick will pay us a visit at 8 o'clock, I think. Is he here? Mike's here today. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll see him coming up at 8 o'clock. So we'll be back with the 5 things you need to know right after this. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 59 degrees outside. Tommy Gallup, your morning mayor, in the house. Shane Mataba, half man, half amazing in Vancouver. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And yesterday we mentioned we had a fire in the King Arthur Park, mobile home park. And the 10-year-old woke up to go to the bathroom, saw the fire in the living room, started by a short, set the couch on fire. Couldn't get to the parents, had to run outside, banged on the window. They broke out the window, got the parents out. They had to go to another window, break that out, get the other 2 kids out of the trailer. So, the thing is pretty much destroyed from the smoke and the fumes and everything. And they have a GoFundMe that I donated to yesterday. And right now, when we started yesterday and announced this, they had $2,500. Now they've got almost double that. So I'm not going to take credit for doubling it, that's for sure. But it was in the newspaper as well. So certainly... But 65 people have raised almost $5,000 in 3 days. So it is a GoFundMe fund. Just go over to GoFundMe.com and do a search for the last name Steinmetz, I think it is, Stimatze, Stimatze. And they've got various pictures of the fire, and you can kind of see the damage and everything that has happened to these folks. It's going to cost them about $3,000 to $4,000 to have that trailer hauled away and demolished. And I don't know if insurance covers that or not. It may cover the cost of the fire or whatever, but I don't know if it covers the disposal on mobile homes. I guess it depends on what kind of policy you have. But anyway, we hope that these folks, they need a lot of things. They got mom, dad, and the 3 kids. And so thankfully they are all alive. They did lose 2 dogs, unfortunately, in the fire. They lost their 2 pets. So I'm encouraging everybody to help them out if you can. Again, GoFundMe.com. Just do a search for Stimatze, Stimatze, and donate whatever you can. You can donate anonymously. You don't have to put your name down or anything. So, but these folks obviously are in a bad shape right now. So if we can help them, let's do it. All right. Let's see, Shane, 5 things you need to know, right?
Yes, sir. This is good.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's take a phone call before we get started. 522 Talk is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is the not genetically modified Vinny.
All right, Vinny, what's up?
Well, that they closed down Colstrip 1 and 2 yesterday.
They did. We just mentioned that earlier. Yep, they did.
Unbelievable.
Well,
we got two types of power here in Montana. We got reliable and unreliable. And if you look at the Greenland ice cores, 6,000 years of climate data, 2-mile thick ice cores that they drilled in Greenland. It took them 6 years to do that, and they have absolute scientific data that we're heading into a cold cycle. And so when you're shivering in the wintertime because Colstrip 1 and 2 went down, you can blame that stupid Governor Steve Bullock, who's out campaigning in Iowa. He doesn't say a thing about shutting down Colstrip 1 and 2. He's trying to get on the debate stage, which he won't do.
No, he's not going to have the money or the...
Fool.
Yeah, he's...
You got to have 68,000 supporters. He's probably got about 12.
And 20 states, too. You got to... Well, so he needs 8 more states at least with one person.
Fool. Guy thinks he's going to get another political job.
Yeah, well... I wouldn't hold my breath if I were him.
Well, it's better that he's doing that than running against your senator. So,
you know, it's time for the people of Bozeman to use the initiative process. If the stoners could do it to get marijuana on the ballot, the taxpayers can do it.
I would think so.
Yeah, the stoners did it. So if you can't do what the stoners did, so that's cool.
Well, maybe if we passed out marijuana, they'd sign our petition.
Maybe so.
That's what we need. Maybe that's the incentive we need.
Proposition 13.
Yep.
Initiative laws of Montana. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, we need something like that. That's for sure. All right. Thanks a lot, Vinny.
All right.
Take care. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hello. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good.
Good deal. So I'm calling in to pitch my 2 cents about that giant pile of steaming Bullock as well.
Okay.
So this guy's got so many flies around him. He can't even stay home and do the job he's being paid by us Montanans to do. He's got to flitter around and try and jump on this giant I want to be president train. I think my main gripe with them, other than now, I just woke up, the 2 Colstrip plants being closed down, I think that's just tremendously stupid. And so my main complaint is I have a relative, a son, who's in the Montana National Guard, and he's contractually obligated to serve a certain amount of years, which is 6. And he was guaranteed a $20,000 sign-on bonus for his particular job. And I know that money comes from the feds, but it's distributed by the Montana National Guard, who's controlled by that big steaming pile of Bullock. And now they're starting to renege on these, they call them bumper bonuses for these kids. And my son's not the only one. A lot of people he went to basic training with have this happening all around Montana. And I say this to my fellow Montanans. If he can't even keep a contract straight and do what he promised to do in a contract, because ultimately he's responsible. He's the chief of the Montana National Guard. He's in charge of it. He's the governor. If he can't do that, how the hell is he going to do anything for our national military?
Have they given you any kind of reasoning why they're reneging on these bonuses?
Yes. What they're saying is that there's some kind of computer system that's down. And I'm thinking, well, a ballpoint pen and a check seem to have worked up to this point.
That's right. Well, maybe it's that Chinese company that started Obamacare that's working the computer.
You're probably right.
I'm sorry, Canadian company. I forgot.
I knew what you meant. And I'm just hoping that Bullock listening. I really do. Stay home and do your damn job. You know, I mean.
There you go.
If you're never going to be president, just stay home and do your job, please.
There you are. All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Yep, have a good day.
All right, you too. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw Bullock in debates when he was first running. after hearing him, I had to go take a shower. I mean, it was not good.
You were sweating that bad,
I
were
said,
you?
well, I was saying this guy, I don't want any of what he has, getting on me.
Yeah, I know what you're referencing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 5 things you need to know. The first one, of course, is that they got big protests going on in Hong Kong over this extradition bill. And if I were in Hong Kong, I wouldn't want to be extradited to China either. Jeez.
Right.
I mean, for trial in China for a crime? Are you kidding me?
Hong Kong's so interesting because of its history, but 7.5 million people live there.
Yeah.
And, it's 17,000 square miles. It doesn't just include the island. It includes land as well on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
GDP of $484 billion. It's segregated because it's an economic zone. And, this is starting to look like the Tiananmen Square, Tiananmen Square, demonstration.
China. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the interesting things about Hong Kong is the HSBC, the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corporation, is based there in Hong Kong. And they opened up offices here when Hong Kong moved from controlled by the British back to the Chinese. And that was the official funnel of Chinese money and investment to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's interesting, and I bring that up because we talked about this the other day about the deal that Trump is trying to put together with China.
Right.
They've refused to open up their banking system to the U.S. and other countries, but their banks are all around the world because of the WTO. So this is a major thing. And when they joined the International Monetary Fund, this was supposed to be automatic. So Trump is forcing their hand when the international people in the world haven't done anything about it. So it's an interesting situation.
Yeah, no, the international banking thing, well, and plus they're still fluctuating their currency to a certain extent, and they were supposed to stop doing that when they became a member of the International Monetary Fund. So, but they're still, 6 yuan to the dollar or something like that? Or
yeah, just about. I can look it up real quick, but
which is a pretty good deal for us, tariffs included, even.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you're paying $1 and you're getting $6 worth of stuff, it sounds pretty good to me. I don't know, but anyway. Plus, you're paying less taxes on it thanks to the corporate tax cuts. So
yeah, it's 6.927, and it keeps fluctuating. But folks, even a penny difference or 1 point difference on that is a massive difference in the cost of things.
There we go. All right, Shay, we got a caller waiting. If you could chat with them, I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, 20 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 62 degrees outside. Mike McCormick will join us at 8 o'clock. And right now, Shane's been waterboarding a listener. So let's go to the phones and see what's up. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is Clint.
Hey.
Well, Shane and I discussed the whole problems of the world.
Okay.
And we've got it solved. And
all right, so give me the cliff notes.
The cliff note is this: we're just going to be fine.
Well, that's good. See, now see that's a positive Wednesday statement for Hump Day. Everything's going to be fine.
Let's hope so. But I got a few questions to ask you and the public and Shane and everybody.
All right.
Okay, we got Colstrip, right?
Yep. Well, half of it.
One and two is went down,
it's
right?
It's gone now.
Okay. Now, how many millions of dollars was spent to buy the right-of-ways for them huge transmission towers to go out to Washington there?
A lot.
Okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two.
Well, it's just like the Keystone Pipeline. You gotta pay the property taxes on that thing every year. So.
That's right.
Got to deliver the product.
Well, there's a lot of property taxes being paid by that power line to all the counties that it went through from here, Idaho, Washington, all of them.
Yep.
Now, did anybody ever sit down and talk to the counties about how much power, how much taxes they were paying? I don't think so. Did anybody ever stop and think what was going to happen to the little town of Colstrip, what's going to happen to the workers and everything else? I don't think so.
No, it's a business, unfortunately, and businesses come and go, and employees pay the price for that, unfortunately. So. Well,
when Roscoe signed a bill to deregulate the power, that did it right there, I think. But I think probably our big problem is the environmental community. I don't think the environmental community gives a damn about anything except the environment. And then I'll give you for instance, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation was trying to buy some land adjacent to the mine there at White Sulphur. And I don't know if they got it done or not. And they were trying to stop that mine in any way they possibly could. That's one thing. Now, the next thing is this here. Years ago, I worked for Atlantic Richfield Oil in Mark County and in Park County, building drilling locations for the drills, okay? And so and a fellow by the name of John Binkley was the engineer for this division of Atlantic Richfield Oil. And so when I got done with the locations and stuff, I asked John. He was out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, out of Atlantic Richfield Oil. I says, when are you guys going to go to North Slope and put in the pipeline from Prudhoe Bay on over to Valdez? Well, he says, I don't know for sure, but I'll write you a letter. So I called him up about a month or so later, and he wrote me this letter. And he says, I hope the environmental bastards freeze to death in the dark because we can't get the line going. That's the very words he told me. And them same words are going to apply to Colstrip. They're going to see the time that Colstrip they're going to need all the power they can get. Atomic power is dangerous. It's awful dangerous. Fukushima said that. That said it all to us. 3 Mile Island said it also. And Chernobyl in Russia, that said it. So what the hell are these people thinking about? And not only that, the coal tax trust fund is going to have less money in the trust fund for the state of Montana. Where the hell is Bullock helping us? He isn't helping us at all.
Well, why should he? He's out.
That's right. I understand that. But he hasn't done anything to help us.
Well,
and
once you're elected, you don't have to do anything, Clint. Come on. Well, particularly when you're going to be term limited out, why waste a whole lot of time working for your state?
Well, that's what I'm saying about politicians. They're in there for themselves. They're not in there for the people.
That's it.
Darn it.
That's pretty much.
And it's not right. You're supposed, when you go and run for an office, whether you're a legislator or a senator or a governor or a president, whoever, you're supposed to go in there to help your nation, your state, or your community, not yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's what you run on, at least. But whether you get in there, well,
they don't do it.
It's the chair feels good. It's cushy. It's warm in there. People bring you coffee.
Not to mention the benefits.
Yeah, people bring you coffee, and it's really nice.
That's right. Shane, you and Tom, how many days does our federal Congress work?
109.
Oh, there's 365 days in a year, huh?
Well, yeah, they get as much done as our legislature does in 90.
What's the average salary of a senator?
170 something, I think.
178. They want a $5,000 pay raise.
Yeah, they want a raise.
Okay, and then the perks. How much more is the perks?
Well, you get better medical care than anybody else has.
They're running over $200,000 each one of them.
Oh, yeah.
And you and I are paying for them, and what are we getting? What are we getting? We've got the Republicans fighting the Democrats, and there's nobody sitting down at the table to talk about what the country needs. It's all about the damn parties.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's got to stop.
Yeah. Well, have we seen that? What is Congress doing right now? They do anything about the infrastructure? They do anything about the border?
No.
No, we're investigating Trump. Come on.
What in the hell is the matter with these people back there?
Yeah.
And what's the matter with the news media? My God, they stuff.
Clint, they don't think people are paying attention, and they think their seats are all secured, they have a 2-year term. It's a term limit, 2 years, and they got to run every 2 years. And most of these people in Congress that are, except for the new Congress people, like look at this guy Nadler, 39 years he's been a congressman.
86% are returned to the Congress, and we wonder why nothing's changing.
Yeah. As I call him, Chubby Chicken's been around for 39 years, 18 elections he's won.
Well, I think the American people better get off their butts and change the Constitution, basically, and have term limits on our federal.
You already do. It's every 2 years.
Yeah, but
hell, that voting and money comes in there then.
Well, yeah, but the problem is the problem is that fear of loss is more powerful than expectation of gain.
Well,
if you change to somebody else, then boy, you are, oh my God, what is he or she going to do?
What the hell have we got now, Tom?
Well, we have. That's why I say fear of loss is more powerful than expectation of gain.
Well, so. you have Gianforte. Are you happy with him?
Well, he's going to spend his own money, I guess, most of it.
No, that wasn't my question. Are you happy with him as a congressman?
Basically, yeah, I think he's all right.
Well, there you go. All politics are local. It's not your congressman that's got a problem. It's the other guy.
Oh, that's right.
Well, our congressmen here are, especially on the Democratic side, they're all pretty much in step with the environmental community. Mm-hmm. And so the environmental community is, I tell you,
well,
we're in trouble. We're in big trouble, and people don't realize it. And
what we do in our own state affects us a hell of a lot more than what happens in Washington. So.
Yeah, I understand that, but Washington, D.C. blackmails us all the time over money.
That's true.
So the money is controlling everything, and it's controlling the politics, and I don't think it's right. I don't know what the hell to do about it other than term limits.
Well, what you're going to have to do about it right now is hang up because I got to take a break.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for the call. All right, appreciate you listening. All right, we'll be right back with more of the stimulating conversation here. We got Colstrip, 2 of them closing down 30 months early, and we've still got more of the 5 things you need to know. Mike McCormick at 8 o'clock, so stay tuned. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 64 degrees outside. Shay Matabin on the line with me, Vancouver, British Columbia, and he's got something to say.
I just wanted to do the update that we promised the farmers. Soybeans,
that's right,
$8.69.34, up $9. Wheat, $5.22, up $4.75, and milk is $16.35. It's flat. Cheese is at $1.69, up a penny. We'll get down here to live cattle, 110, down 7.075. Lean hogs, 79.10, up 0.025. Feeder cattle, 137.57, down 72 cents, and beef 10.62, down a nickel. Poultry 4.83, up 6. So it's looking good, and the stock market opened up down, up, just nominal. Trying to figure out where it's going today. It'll be up for the day. It'll be up for the day because things are moving along, and the result is that the government bonds in the U.S., the 10-year bonds at 2.14, down again. And the 30-year bond is 262 is off. And the mad currency market, the ruler of the world right now, the euro's at 113 to the U.S. dollar, pound sterling 128. Canada 132, and China is at 692. Mexico 9.16. Looking sad, that Mexican peso, Tom.
Yeah, it is. From our text line, we were talking about schools and the cost of schools and everything. Get rid of all school sports and just educate our kids in our schools. Let sports be private and market-driven. Well, athletics bring a lot of money into the school. I got to tell you, I mean, I'm not arguing with you, but they do, so.
Well, to high school, it should reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it.
True.
And high school should be social studies and history, reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah. What are one of the big three lies? You'll use algebra in real life.
That's right.
Right. I work for the utility. I saw some numbers a while back in February 2019. One of our coldest records, records on the month. Solar and wind contribute to 1% of our generation that month. Do you know why?
No sun.
No sun. Yeah, I was going to say, snowing all over the place.
Exactly.
All right, from our text line, 478-8298. What's wrong with Congress investigating Trump? Well, the short answer is nothing. Makes Trump a victim, so go for it.
Well, that and they've done it 5 times already. I mean, how long? How many times can you do this?
Well, and also, too, you may want to go over to KMMSAM.com and read my blog, how to impeach a president. They don't have time before the election to do an impeachment.
And nor do they have the votes.
Nor do they have the votes either. So you got to have, 67? Two-thirds.
Yeah.
Two-thirds. So they have to have 67 senators vote for impeachment. That ain't going to happen. So somebody should only investigate the other party. Yeah, I think the other party could use a little investigating. Hillary Clinton certainly could, I think, and her group. And Donna Brazile giving questions to Clinton before the debates. Yeah, I would say there's some investigation that probably should go on there. But this is simply the Democrats' Benghazi. The Republicans tried to get Benghazi for 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
Nothing happened. This is going to be the same thing. Okay. Let's see. Have Shane give the price for GMO wheat.
GMO wheat, yeah. By the way, just to make a point, the Democrats right now have 47 Senate seats, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a third of the Senate is up. I mean, there's 30.
There's more Republicans up. 12-7 or something like that?
Well, 22 Republicans.
22, yeah, that's right.
And 12 Democrats.
Yeah.
So they would have to win 20 of the 34 seats up to have enough control in the Senate. And not going to happen, folks.
Well, we'll certainly see, how that goes. But right now,
we were going to hopefully get through 5 things you need to know. One of them were about these new Democratic polls showing everyone beating Trump.
Right after the break.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't look.
Right after the break, right?
Okay.
Hold that thought. 15 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12, 2019, 66 degrees outside. Mike McCormick will join us at 8 o'clock we'll explore the what's going on with the up and down market. Still above 26, barely, but it's still there. Let's see. From our text line, we were talking a little bit about the schools earlier. If you went to the schools and saw how they do their upkeep, those solar panels would work for about a week. So there you are. We were talking about 3 schools are putting solar panels on the roof that they expect to get 25% of their electricity from solar panels. So I don't know. As Shane pointed out, rain takes dust out of the air, and what's it do with the dust? Deposit it on the solar panel receptors. And you got to go up there with that. What's the stuff they're selling on TV now? The window cleaner stuff, 27 feet above. Yeah. You just stand down there, clean your solar panels with the miracle crystals or whatever that crap is they're selling. So that should be good. Well, the 5 things we need to know, we do have to talk about the House votes to take Barr and McCahn to court. They voted 229 to 191 on Tuesday, and they're going to take them to federal court over noncompliance with subpoenas. And the vote, which was along party lines, does not hold the 2 officials in contempt, but clears the way for more lawsuits. So there we are. So
more wasted time.
Yeah.
More wasted time.
Another waste of time. And the other thing we want to talk about before we have to take another break is every major Democrat beats Trump and Biden trounces him in the election. Quinnipiac poll, Biden 53 to 40% lead. And what kind of a lead did Clinton have on Trump?
She was up by like 20 points, they claimed.
Yeah, all over the place, through the entire thing.
And remember in 84, Reagan's second run, at this time, he was 15% behind everyone, ended up having a landslide. So,
yeah. Let's see. From our text line, let me find the story here real quick. And
Well, you're looking that up.
Yeah,
I'm going
go ahead.
to the fourth thing. Biden calls Trump an existential threat to American Iowa. Now, Joe Biden's a great plagiarist, but, someone in his campaign should have told him what the definition of existential is. As a philosophical definition, concerned with existence, especially human existence, as viewed in the theories of existentialism. The logic definition of existentialism, are you ready for this? Affirming or implying the existence of a thing.
Okay. So Trump's alive, I guess, then.
Yeah, he's affirming the existence of Trump by saying existential.
Okay.
And, he uses a big word like it's a terrible word. He's actually complimenting his president. He's alive.
All right. Well, from our text line, what caused the Colstrip shutdown? A court order. No, demand for coal is dropping as utilities turn to natural gas and renewable energy, while pollution rules increase coal power costs, and some states worried about climate change. And the two coal strips that are going to be shut down, 614 megawatt capacity. They're the smaller ones. The newer ones are 2,100 megawatt capacity, but those may be shut down early as well for the same reason. So I hope that answers our texter's question about what caused the coal strip to stop.
Well, a historical point about Colstrip I'd like to get in for the folks listening. As you know, President Nixon started the Environmental Protection Agency, and Trudeau at the time was Prime Minister of Canada, complaining about acid rain to Canada from all your coal companies, burning coal. So Colstrip was picked by the Environmental Protection Agency as the key test area for screening and developing processes to clean the coal. So, you're talking about a unit in your country that's fully clean coal. I mean, it burns clean. It burns the coal clean. And I don't understand. The state would be better for a group of guys in your state, and you got some billionaires there, to form a utility, buy it for $1, and set up a Montana power utility to provide power just for Montana. That's what you should do. That's what they should do.
Well, we used to have Montana power years ago, as you well know, and of course when the guy at Montana Power came along, and as one of our callers pointed out, the governor declassified all that stuff, so they went to mobile phones, and Montana Power went south, and all the people that had stock in Montana Power, of course, lost big time. So a lot of the retirements and everything else. So we got to take another quick break. Mike McCormick is coming in, so we'll be right back with more right after this. 5 minutes for the top of the hour. Mike McCormick joins us. Shane Taubman on the line in Vancouver, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. Hang on to the railings. It's high.
The bubble machine is on this morning.
That's right, man.
Happy Wednesday. Hey, Shane.
Mike, welcome to the house, buddy.
It is a wonderful house. Beautiful morning here in Bozeman. It's summertime. We passed spring long ago. We're not sure what that looked like, but flowers are popping. Valley's super green. Beautiful day out there.
Well, we just dumped 40,000 bees at Gooch Hill, and
that's just good for the environment, right?
That's right.
Set out your little welcome mats. Get your own hive going.
If the cell phones don't kill them,
better than the hornets. We spotted a queen hornet looking for a nest the other day.
Ouch.
That was yeah.
Now you got to get rid of those guys. So let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the air with Mike and Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey guys, it's Mayor.
Hey, Mayor.
Hey, I think Einstein says you can't fix the problem with the same mind that created it. So I think that speaks well for term limits.
Yeah.
And insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If that doesn't sound like the Mueller investigation, I don't know what else does. that pretty much sums up the Democratic Party.
Well, there you go.
That's all I have.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. Well, Mikey's a little concerned about the Fed running the market, or the market running the Fed.
Market running the Fed, yeah. And again, don't fall asleep on this one, but this is the big picture economics thing. And I am a trained economist back over 2 decades ago now.
Ooh.
Right? So that means I've forgotten everything. I forgot everything a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, these are independent bodies, and that is the way that everybody is deciding is the right way to go. So new democracies, countries going under upheaval, they're looking to us and how we designed our financial system. Mm-hmm. And with Trump criticizing the Fed's actions as being inappropriate for what he would like them to be doing is fine. But what's interesting is that it seems like the Fed is doing what the market is asking it to do. Now, rewind back in December. In December, the Fed came out and said, we're sitting on a great economy. Our mandates are inflation. Inflation's not an issue. Our mandate is unemployment.
That's their 2 jobs.
And they've really never looked better ever. Now, ever's, of course, statistically not viable, asterisk, but excellent, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to keep raising rates, and we're going to keep selling these things that we took on our balance sheet during the Great Recession, and the market threw a hissy fit and went down over 10% on Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. And then the Fed came out and said, whoa, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. So it's like, as a parent, consistency is what's hard in the short term, but makes things golden in the long term.
Right.
If you're a good
Kids
parent,
know where they stand,
and you say, if you do this, then this happens, and you follow through with it, eventually they will get it and they will behave accordingly.
Right.
Now, in this relationship, we have poor parenting going on. So now the Fed is talking about lowering rates. The market rallied on the Fed's on the hope that the Fed's going to give us more drugs, which is effectively what it would be. I mean, we're at the low end of a neutral rate on rates, and so jacking more liquidity into the system, in my mind, would be promoting the opportunity to create bubbles. Yeah. And then they're backed in the corner, because if they stand pat, then the market's going to throw a hissy fit, throw the tantrum, right? Is what it is. So it's I think that it's a good analogy with a toddler and the good parenting, short-term pain, consistency. We'll watch how it plays out.
Okay. All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back. This is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom on the line in Vancouver. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor in the house. Mike McCormick, Money Guru. Ooh.
Oh, geez. And we got Apple doing well. We got the stock market pulling back. All sorts of interesting stuff going on.
Yes, we do. We'll be right back with more with Mike and Tom and Shane right after the news. All right, welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. 69 degrees outside. Shane Matabin on the line with me. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor. And the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, making radio great again.
I mean, what a golden age of radio, in fact.
Golden age in Montana.
We're having the second golden age.
Yeah, right.
Mike, I just want to mention to you, when you go to Kauai, make sure you take the family up to the top of Waimea Canyon.
Yeah.
Wettest spot on the planet, over 400 inches of rain a year.
Yes.
It's remarkable. It's a beautiful thing to do.
Yes. But hopefully we'll get the 1 half day a year that it's not raining up there.
It's not raining up there.
You can see something.
It rains every day, but you got to go up there.
No, I hear you. I appreciate that, Shane. We're excited getting out of Dodge here.
Yeah,
couldn't quite fit the trip in during the normal Christmas or spring break time, but we'll still be active. There's still the US of A. There's still interweb, so if anybody's got any questions or needs. But I will be gone next weekend, so you guys will be free to wax eloquently without me.
Boy, we'll have to get somebody in here.
Droning on. Droning on. Yeah, right. Get a replacement. There's plenty of good advisors in this town.
Before we go on with Mike, I want to talk about... we had a fire in the King Arthur trailer park, and some folks, the 10-year-old kid woke up and went to the bathroom and saw the fire in the living room and couldn't get to the parents, so he had to
save the day.
Had to run outside, bang on the trailer, wake them up. They had to break the windows out to get them out, and then they had to break windows out to get the other two kids out. So, and they lost 2 dogs in the fire, unfortunately. Couldn't get to the dogs.
Oh, bummer.
And that was sad. So anyway, they have a GoFundMe file going on, or a GoFundMe site, and just do a search for the last name Stimatze, Stimatze, and they will be happy to take your donation. You can do it anonymously, or you can add your name to it, or whatever. But it's going to cost them about $3 or $4 grand to get this trailer out of there and disposed of. And I'm not sure if insurance covers something like that on a mobile home. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
I don't know. And they're all personal belongings are obviously gone.
Yeah, that's taken care of because of the
tremendous
fumes
loss.
and the smoke.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's quite a loss. Plus the 2 dogs. I mean, their family as well. And so, it's pretty nasty. But if you go over there, you can see a lot of pictures of the fire and the damage that was done. But I don't know what the situation monetarily of this family is, but they've got a goal of $10,000. They're at $49.65 right now, and if we could help them out, I donated myself because they're in my neighborhood. Again, just do a search for Stimatze, and let's see if we can help these folks out here locally.
Yeah, and this is this is the community effect of our radio station. So it's great that you bring this up, Tom. We were just talking during the break about. I see a lot of people out around with earbuds in doing the podcast thing, which I think is great. It's a great way to get continuing education, but you don't get that community feel and be a part of something the way that you do when you participate in radio. So thanks for all our listeners. Yeah.
Yep. Amen to that. So.
Amen.
All right. Well, before the break, we were talking about the Fed has 2 responsibilities. One is unemployment.
Yep.
And the other is inflation, controlling inflation and keeping unemployment low.
And they can control these interest rates, and they're coming out in July as the next chance that they're going to get to do it. And the market's trying to back them in a corner, saying you should lower rates. Yeah. You should make it easier.
Well, isn't this a double-edged sword? Because what we saw when money was almost free, banks were reluctant to loan money unless you had gilt-edged credit.
Yeah.
Because the default rate would.
Their business is not taking risk.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but yet low interest rates will attract home buyers, obviously.
Mortgages are incredibly low. They're the lowest they've been in 18 months, I read. You can go under 4% now if you've got great credit, is what I read too. Yeah. That's spectacular. So that's going to fuel, again, if we make money easier, we will create a bubble somewhere.
Yeah.
And so far, we've been pretty disciplined, at least to the reports that I read and the things that I read, where, yes, things are expensive. Everything's expensive. Nothing's really too expensive. Yeah. Something will revert to the mean. But in these times, you still have to be making your contributions to your retirement accounts. You're just, unfortunately, time is punishing you. And so getting the money allocated, if you're not able to save right now, this is one of the areas where I don't do enough attention for the people that really need the most help out there is how can you just start saving right now? And so I was thinking, there's 2 steps to it. One is you do need to set up a savings account, the de facto piggy bank on the interweb or at your local bank where there's automatic transactions coming into it. And you say, Mike, I can't do these automatic transactions because I'm not saving any money. But then what about if you set up the automatic transactions? And then step 2 is you go and you look at all your reoccurring expenses, all these expenses that happen once a month. And you're going to have rent, okay? Rent or mortgage. That's not negotiable. You got to pay that, right?
Got to pay that.
You got to have heat. Okay. Can you turn the heat down a little bit? Yeah, maybe. You got to have utilities. Can you water less? Okay, maybe. But it's really when you get down to the cable, the internet, the Netflix, the memberships, the Costco. Of course, I'm a fan of Costco myself, but if you don't have a family, if it's just you and you like it because you like to go get a chicken bake and a giant jar of olives every once in a while, you're probably losing money on the deal. But call your phone provider, call your cable provider, say, how can I get a better deal? Here are the services I'm using. And when you find these bills, and you'll see them, if you go through your credit card statement, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm still subscribed to this such and such thing that suckered me in for a free offer, and now it's just ringing my credit card. Once you make that savings, once you cancel that then becomes the amount of money that you can afford to save. Mm-hmm. So if you go through this due diligence and you cut out some expenses out of your programs, let's say it's only $40 a month, then you can start to save $40 a month because you were already living on that amount. And from there, you're going to build good behavior. You're going to get confidence, and that's going to snowball, hopefully. And then I do recommend Dave Ramsey's first 3 steps are just the right way to go. They do great classes. A lot of the churches in town will put on his workshop. Most of the financial advisors in town know how to refer to him. But if you're somebody that just is still having a really hard time figuring out how to save, there's good resources out there. AICPA Feed the Pig on the web. The sad reality is yes, it's hard. There's no easy way to do it. Yeah. And yes, the best thing to do would be to just inherit it or win the lottery. But
that's my plan.
That's bad planning. It's it's bad math. Try make a go at it on your own.
Well, I'll tell you, the best thing that ever happened to me was I sat down and made a budget in Excel. As
you're techno savvy.
Yeah, well, it wasn't all in. I just didn't sit down and make a budget because each month there'd be, I forgot I've got to do a car license.
It keeps coming, doesn't it? Right, it's a living document.
Yeah, I've got this payment that comes up every now and then or whatever. And boy, being able to do that, and then you can plug in all what you're going to pay.
Yep.
And adjust it so that you've got a cushion. And put some in savings, obviously, and
and
do that.
The obvious culprits are the ones that we see. I mean, the conspicuous consumption, right?
Oh yeah,
driving in a car that looks nicer than what you can afford, drinking a beer that's nicer than you can afford, drinking a coffee that's nicer than you can afford.
Exactly.
These are the sad realities of savings money, but that don't ignore them.
No, we can't do that. Well. You can live a life with privileges, but not every month. You go out for a nice dinner.
Treat it as a reward, as a success story, right? And then you look forward to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you are on the air with Mike McCormick, Shane, and myself. What's up?
Yeah. Good morning to the Money Reaper.
Hey.
Good morning.
So, with the market being so volatile, I know you've been preaching safety and in investing quite a bit. Just wondering what you think about government bonds, I'll hang up and listen to your questions.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Great question. Tom's a big fan of the e-bonds. You can log on to treasurydirect.gov, and you can buy directly without a commission and advisor, which is appropriate for some people.
$25, and also they increase with inflation. So if inflation increases, so does your interest. So it's a good deal. Yeah,
it's a good deal. And the way that the yield curve is incentivize people to get short term.
I think most of those are 7 years. I think they are.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can get about 2%. Plus on short-term money, and whether it's through the government or through FDIC at a local bank, they're very much linked in terms of that. In the mid-range of the curve, if you go out from 2 to 10, 2 to 15 years, you're actually being punished right now.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend people getting into that market. That's why we have such low interest rates. That's why we have an inverted yield curve. Why do we have these things? It's a bigger topic than we're going to be able to handle. Shane's more the expert on international money flows. But when you get out to the long term, meaning long-term loans to the U.S. government.
30 years,
the longest that they go. And I think this is what the caller was alluding to. This is a safe haven. This is a non-correlated asset to the stock market. This is one of those things that you can own, and over the long term, you're going to do 3%, period.
Yeah.
Over the short term, you're going to get a behavior that is effectively what people think gold would do, right?
Yeah.
It's a fear-based...
Up or down, yeah.
Right. So if the stock market has a big pullback, long-term bonds, if you own them, will probably do well, especially if it's U.S. government. Money's scared. Money's chicken. It's coming to the U.S.
Yeah.
And so should you be allocating some money into long-term government bonds in your portfolio? Of course, it depends who you are and your goals. Yeah. But if you are somebody that's looking for hedging, if you're looking for a way to reduce your risk, and also if you're wanting some income and stability, it can be really helpful. So there's exchange traded funds that you can use, and TLT is one that I've been using lately, but there's a lot of different ones out there. And they've been doing extremely well during these volatile times in smoothing out your portfolio. That's really the goal. So it's not a bad idea at all. It is complicated, but if you are saying, okay, I've got a lot of money at risk, I don't have a lot of other non-correlated assets. All my money is in the stock market through my 401k. I don't have rental properties. I don't have business ownerships. Maybe you should be looking at other ways that you can diversify beyond just the standard investment grade bonds. You might be looking at some of these.
Yeah. In the case of the bonds, it wasn't too long ago, the 10-year was over 3%, and now all of a sudden it's 2.1 or somewhere in that area.
It's come down significantly.
Is that because when it was 3%, the money came flowing in, and you've got to slow that down so the interest rate goes down to kind of temper that the influx of money in the United States, which we love to have from everywhere?
Owning U.S. debt is a common thing across the globe, and its supply and demand is extremely complicated.
Yeah.
And what has led us to this situation right now is basically that the outside countries are wanting to own U.S. debt. For some reason, they're targeting this maturity zone of it, and again, Shane might be able to add to that one. Why they're depressing?
Well, it's a safe place. It's safer.
Well, right, but why wouldn't they go? Why aren't they in the long term of the curve?
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know, Shane. What do you think? Why aren't they on the long term?
Oh, well, they are. They're buying the 30-year, but the clear understanding for the last 70 years is the price of a bond goes up, the interest rate goes down. So that's why the prices are dropping, because the 10-year and the 30-year are very popular with big money globally, and as they buy it up, they'll go down. That's what Bernanke believed, when he did the quantum easing thing after 08, 09, was that at some point money would come back to the United States, and so he took it upon the Federal Reserve to buy debt, believing he'd be able to sell it, and that's why they are now quietly unloading the $4 trillion in U.S. debt they acquired over the last 16 years.
And it might be that quantitative easing might describe why the long end of the curve is holding up better than the middle end of the curve on this one.
True. Yeah.
But the bottom line is that when shopping for U.S. debt, look at the different time frames, look at the amount of time that you're willing to commit your money, and come up with the right answer for you. It's very well published. You can look at graphs, charts, etc.
Yeah, it's pretty well known. So, all right, we got to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back with more right after this. 23 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. It is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 69 degrees outside. Shane Mataman on the line with me with Vancouver, British Columbia. He's been interrogating a listener. So let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Not just any caller. Daniel R. Peterson.
Daniel, how you doing?
Well, very very good. I'm earning money doing heavy labor.
Well, all right. Good for you.
Speaking of the old saw, insanity has been the same old thing, and expecting different results.
That's right.
The Fed has been ruling the roost since 1913, and we've had the Great Depression and the not-so-great recession of 2008 and numerous bubbles, corrections, market failures that the Fed was supposed to smooth out, and the Fed has supposedly just one arrow in its quiver to raise and lower interest rates. But when it came down to big business about to fail, they used quantum
easing.
What was that?
Yeah, quantum easing. Yeah.
Which wasn't technically supposed to be in their quiver, and it seemed that didn't help real much. It may have helped, but that's even a matter of opinion. But
well, they bought up all the debt, the toxic debt from 2007 to 2009 to make sure that that wasn't foisted on the people.
Yeah, socialism for the big business and capitalism for the little people. If they go bankrupt, they go bankrupt. But big business doesn't go.
Well, Lehman
bankrupt.
Brothers did. They certainly went down. I mean, it wasn't. And they should have let General Motors go down as well, but they didn't.
Yeah, because Ford made it through without the quantum easing. Well,
Right.
here's the bottom line question.
Yeah, but Ford did that because a year before they renegotiated all their long-term loans like a good CEO is supposed to. So they didn't have an issue with the banks when 0809 came along.
And plus, the Federal Reserve forced the banks to take the money. They didn't necessarily need it, but they forced them to take it. So,
well, there's another thing that heavy-handedness is not part of a free enterprise. Well, here's the bottom line question. Don't you think it's at least time that suggests that a 106-year-old antique should be replaced by something better? It's not shown in the test of time that it works all that well, especially if they put it in place in 1913 and 15 years later, boom, a Great Depression happened.
but there were also rules written after that as well. Well, let me ask you this: do you think the economy is better now than it was in 2007, 2008, 2009?
I suppose, but not for everybody.
Well, no, it was. It wasn't for every. It's never been for everybody. I mean, there's always going to be 10 to 13% of the people that are in bad shape.
Well, aren't all boats supposed to rise in if we're all in it together? What do you mean? There's some people that are inferior and some people that are superior. No,
I don't mean that at all. That I mean, though, that if you're poor for 30 or 40 years, my suggestion is that you simply do not know how to manage money. That's very simple. Well,
yeah, that's what you think of people. I grew up in the inner city. There are plenty of people that are quite industrious that can't get anywhere because the businesses have been pulled away from the inner city.
And why is that? Because it's not profitable to be there. Because of crime and drugs and, all of those things. Yeah.
The pull of cheaper labor far, far away, too. Not all push them away. It's some of the pull of greed economics.
Well, I'm not sure that cheap labor flies anymore because so much of what we do now overseas is automated and computerized, and you can't take somebody out of a field or a rice paddy and put them in front of a computer and they know what to do with it.
Well, you can't. Well, that's one of the things I've said about the people that have grown up going to Harvard. You can't ask them to go out in the field and grow some food. They have to depend on people that have strong backs and can handle the sun. Can't they appreciate that kind of person?
Sure. And I'm sure they probably do, but...
All right. Did they pay him any money? No, they try to squeeze.
Well, Daniel, most people from Harvard think that eggs and milk and butter come from, a corner store.
That's true. I'm up against the clock, Daniel. Sorry, I got to go. Thanks for the call, though. Good conversation. Thanks a lot. All right, we'll be back right after the news here. Mike McCormick had to go, so Shane and I will finish up. And hey, our poll question today, what's your favorite pizza? What's your favorite pizza? So get over to KMMSAM.com or check it out on your AM 1450 KMMS app and let us know. 24 minutes before the top of the hour. Open lines the rest of the time here. Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 69 degrees outside. Shane Tobin, half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle up, your morning mayor. KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, making radio what? Great.
Historical again.
Historical again. All right. Let's see. From our text line, 478-8298, someone please tell Daniel that not everyone is motivated to be successful. Daniel, turn off your radio or hearing aid or both. Yeah, we do get some feedback on your calls, Daniel, so I'm not sure what that is, but let's see. Doing something over and over, expecting different results. Tariffs. Can we start a GoFundMe to buy Daniel a new phone? And tariffs are like communism. Leaders always think this time they will work. It never works out for the common man. Well, Mike and I were talking before he left, and I'll ask Shane the same question. Most tariffs last about 18 months, and why do they end, Shane? Because someone makes an agreement.
That's right. And
it's very simple. They, yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot, and I'll repeat it again. Tariffs are not a tax. If they result in anything, it's a product price rise. So anybody out there that goes to Costco that's listening, or anybody that shops at Walmart, call and tell us what Chinese products that you've noticed have gone up in price. None, and you're collecting billions from them. The 21st century, we consume 25% of the world's economic production. So, like you say, I say, keep a tariff on China and get the billions back they stole. And the other thing is China is a fascist country. It's not a communist country, and that's the other thing that people need to know. They run everything: the banks, the industries,
communication,
the shipping,
everything.
Communicate everything. Yeah,
people in China don't know about Tiananmen Square. They never heard of it. They've never heard it happen. Never heard it went on at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And with regards to the Fed Bank, real quick with what Daniel was saying, look. In any relationship, there's functional versus dysfunctional attitude. And the bottom line, the biggest equity market in the world, which we now have talked about for 10 years, because it sort of swapped last year from equities to currency. And every currency you look at is measured against what? The U.S. dollar. So it's a bit hard for the U.S. to complain about China's currency when everyone, prices their currency against the U.S. dollar. I would say that's a rather large manipulation on a global scale.
Amen to that. Yeah, I would say so. So, let's see. Socialist wine is anger coming through a very small hole. It's painful on the ears. I don't know. Anyway,
well, but the neck of a wine bottle is narrow.
That's true. That's true. It certainly is. And for good reason, probably, I guess. I don't know.
I would think.
But when we're talking about global economies, what would you say, Shane, in the past, I would say with the computer revolution in the 80s till now, we become more reliant on global because we can't consume all that we produce.
Correct.
So we've relied on other places. Now, let's take Harley-Davidson, for example. Harley-Davidson had 100% tariff going into India. Because why? Because India wanted to protect their motorcycle manufacturers. Right. So they did reduce it to 50% after these tariffs and agreements and everything started floating around. But even at that, you're going to pay a premium for a Harley-Davidson motorcycle in India. Now, is that worth it to you? If it is, it's not a tax.
It's a product cost.
It's a product cost. Somebody's getting the money. Harley-Davidson is getting some money. India's getting some money. But it's a matter of, do I want that product or do I need that product, as we talk about from time to time. And it's the same with tariffs. If you don't like tariffs, don't buy stuff that the tariff is on.
Exactly.
If there's
Make a choice.
If there's an American-made product sitting next to a Chinese toaster, then buy the American toaster. I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty simple deal. If a tariff is going to hurt you, then you're not a quality shopper.
That's right.
My opinion.
And tariffs.
Yeah.
China's position they're taking on all this is going to hurt them in the long term, because that's where Trump's thinking is 50 years from now, not tomorrow, next week, or 4 years from now.
Well, and the other thing you got to think of, what if the Chinese product with the tariff is still cheaper than the American product? What do you do? I mean, come on.
Make a choice.
Make a choice. We'll be right back right after these important words. Stay tuned. 14 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 69 degrees outside. Shane's been waterboarding another caller, so let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Help us make radio great again.
How you doing, gentlemen? This is Jeff.
Jeff, doing great.
Good. So I'm coming around to the tariff thing. I get it a little bit. I understand it more. In general, I'm sort of a free market absolutist, but I realize that the Chinese have been manipulating their currency and cheating and that sort of thing. I understand all that. I just don't necessarily feel like we have to make I guess I feel like you guys kind of were making false arguments. When there's a tax on cigarettes or a tax on gasoline or anything else, we think of it as a tax. Like, that's more expense, and we think, okay, we're having to pay more because of some sort of government intervention. And not only that, you know, when liberals push for higher taxes on cigarettes so that it'll have fewer people using cigarettes, right. And the same thing in gasoline, they'll push higher taxes so that people won't use as much, so that they can save the planet and all that kind of stuff. That's a tax. We don't stop and say, oh no, that's not a tax. That's that's how much we're paying, that kind of thing. I just think that as intelligent conservatives, we don't need to make sort of a false argument because this time it's our guy who's doing it. I think when you get a tariff, it's a tax. It's more. We're paying more because of some government intervention in the system. The issue isn't whether or not it is a tax. It's whether or not we're willing to deal with it because we want China to stop manipulating the markets and stop cheating us. We have to accept what it is. You know, like I always used to say about Obama, everybody's making all these arguments. He's got enough stupid crap that he did that we don't need to make something up about him. You don't have to have a false argument and be like, oh, he was born in Kenya. What a bunch of crap. He's an idiot. He was a socialist and a communist. You don't have to say he was born in Kenya to argue against him.
Yeah. Or he's got orange hair. Or
right. Yeah. I actually have come to really like President Trump.
Me too.
But yeah, you still have to be able to call balls and strikes. If he says something stupid over Twitter, you got to call it out. You know? Yeah, we will never convince other people. Now, granted, I realize that Trump is actually a manifestation of us all throwing up our hands and saying, okay,
enough.
You know what?
Yeah.
Convincing the other side is done. They will not listen, and so we're just going to bash them over the head with every stupid thing they ever do. We're going to hit back finally, and I have that feeling. But on the other hand, we still have to be in the business of convincing because eventually, Rush Limbaugh says this all the time, anybody who goes to Washington, they don't get more conservative. They always get more progressive as they go to Washington. In other words, we still have to convince. We can't just bash people over the heads with stupid arguments and things that aren't true. That's my point of view. Anyway.
All right. Excellent call. Hey, thanks for your input. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
You bet.
Yeah. All right. That was a long call. We got to take another quick break. We'll be right back because we got to get the rush update in here and get that taken care of. And Shane and I'll return right after that. Here's Rush. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 68 degrees outside. Tom Eagle off your morning mare. Shane Batalman, half man, half amazing. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane, winding down here from our text line. Shane is delusional. Tariffs are a tax. Walmart just announced they will be increasing prices. Most tariffs end badly with consumers losing. Well, I bet Coke raised their price too.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And probably, I can't believe it's not butter, is more expensive.
That's right. And, and we've talked about it here. The process is very simple. Mm-hmm. The U.S. government licenses custom brokers at every port of call in your country. A ship pulls up. The custom broker determines what's on that ship, and that shipping company has to provide the tariff money for whatever products are bringing in the U.S., which they refer or pay to the U.S. Treasury. That's how it works. It's not a tax. If China wants to raise its prices or any other company wants to raise its prices, it's not necessarily because of tariffs. It's because the economy is strong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They can raise their price whatever they want, tariff or not.
That's right. And less labor means higher wages, and or less laborability, and better paying jobs are based on supply and demand, and that demand is what drives the price of anything. And so I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone that thinks otherwise, but it's a political football, and it's badly used, and I don't know why the Republicans don't define it.
Yeah, I wish they would. So let's take one more phone call before we have to go. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, just want to make a comment about the cheap taxes and all that going up, and et cetera, and the price of products. Sure. Anyhow, you get what you pay for. If you want a cheap product, you pay a cheap price. If you want a better product, then you pay a better price, and it all comes down to economics. So.
Yeah, it's want versus need. What do you want? What do you need to do your job or to, whatever.
Live.
Yeah, to live. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. Well, and I think that's right. And one of my two rules of advertising. The second rule is when emotion and logic come in conflict, emotion always wins. We buy stuff because of how it makes us feel.
That's right.
Period.
And let's just take cars. In the last 50 years, the years of my lifetime, they've gone up in price. There were no tariffs.
Yeah. So
they went up in price for a whole bunch of economic reasons.
Well, there were tariffs, but that's why Japan started making them here.
Oh, that's right. Well, on the truck, Ford got a 25% tariff on trucks, so but pickups.
Well, they used to have it on cars too, and then Honda came over here, Nissan came over here, and it was cheaper to make them.
And that's why they came.
Yeah, well, it was cheaper to make them here. Plus, the cars they were making in Japan wouldn't handle our roads, so they had to come over here and make them. So,
but the point is, inflation causes the price to go up, and that's not considered a tax. But if you're going to call a tariff a tax, and inflation is a tax.
Yeah, I was going to say, or markup. A retailer's markup is a tax. I mean, you can call it whatever you want, but what it boils down to is, are you willing to pay the price for a product or service or not? It's that simple. Either you do or you don't. Say goodbye, Shane.
Bye, Mayor. We'll talk tomorrow. Be happy, be safe, everyone. Thanks for the calls.
All right. Thanks, Shane. All right, that does it for us. Hump Day. Tomorrow's Thursday. We'll be happy to be here again to take your calls and everything else. Let's see. Liberals love protectionist tariffs. Spin it, but that's a fact because they artificially fix prices. Where have the conservatives gone? Sad. Yeah, I would agree with that. We need to, we need to grow a spine when it comes to this. People have been taking advantage of our generosity way too long, and we'll talk more about that come 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll see you then.